Bow. Pew pew pew. I'm not going to give you an ecstatic pew 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 because that game went way too long. Pew pew pew.
A little bit of added drama last night for the Dodgers. But they do get a win. Welcome, everybody, to a Tuesday edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. I'm Marcus Grant. That is a very tired Greg Bergman.
Yes,
You eventually got to go to sleep. I mean, no thanks
I
to
did.
Tanner Scott and whatever, but you got to sleep.
I got to sleep eventually, but it took way too long and way much longer than it should have, especially against this Rockies team. I was very annoyed, Marcus. He was all we were all in the group chat talking about how this game should never have gotten as long as it did.
Should not have gone as long as it did, but the Dodgers, in their 92nd game of the season, played their first extra inning game. Also, the first team to 60 wins in Major League Baseball this year. We'll get to that and more in just a bit. But first, as always, want to let you know that the Blue Review is powered by LAX. LAX is preparing for a huge win against traffic. The Skylink train is currently in testing to ensure it's a fast and reliable ride to every terminal. For more information, visit lawa.org/ESPN. So the final,
ESPN.
8-7 in 11 innings, sort of trying to make up for LA fans after the disappointment that was the U.S. men's national team. That's another conversation for another time. Matt Freeze, what are you doing back there in goal? I don't know.
Kick the ball, man. Get it away. Get it out of the zone. That's all.
Just get it out of there. Anyway, the Dodgers an 8-7 winner in 11 innings. I think somewhere deep in my mind, Greg, I knew that the Dodgers hadn't played an extra inning game, but it was still like wild to have it like brought out. Like it's July. We're past July 4th now, and the Dodgers finally had a ghost runner on second base. That was what I think I read 5 games short of the major league record for something like that. That was pretty wild, actually.
Yeah, it was like the Red Sox in 2000, 2002, somewhere around there, where they had like 98 or 99 games without going, or it took 98 or 99 games to get into an extra inning game. So that's crazy. I mean, what does it say? Does that say more about? I mean, it has to say more about the Dodgers because they have 60 wins, so that they don't allow it to get to extra innings. But I mean, I'm glad the record is 1-0. I guess.
Right. Someone
Inning?
pointed out last night on social media the Dodgers have scored in 100% of the extra innings that they have played. They scored
true.
in the 10th. They scored in the 10th. They came back and they scored in the 11th. But before we get to that, let's go back to the beginning. It was an Eric Lauer start, which means, you had some early heartburn. Well, one means you win because they are undefeated in games that Eric Lauer pitches. Not even just starts, because they won the game where he had an opener and then he came in as the bulk guy, and they still won that game. So in games where Eric Lauer pitches, the Dodgers remain undefeated. This one was a start, just a traditional start. And as you mentioned in our group chat, you had the early inning heartburn where the second inning he had guys all over the place. He ended up somehow only gave up 1 run in that second inning despite having guys all over the place. Have you just become accustomed to what an Eric Lauer start looks like now? Because they're never going to look like a Yamamoto start, right? They're never going to look like that. Are you just accustomed to what it's going to be now?
Yeah, that if he gets past the second inning without giving up too much, then you have a great chance of winning. But he's still going to give up 3. He's going to go 6, and that is a quality start. And it's crazy to think that Eric Lauer is doing just that, but he is. And yes, we put it in again in the group chat. It was Eric Lauer start. Bases loaded, nobody out, and they only got 1. I thought, what's it called? I always forget your little acronym. So
the Noble Tiger. We'll see, but they got
Noble
1. So
Tiger.
It'd be like a noble. I don't know what it would be.
Noble Tiger.
Something like that. But yeah, the Noble Tiger is no runs scored. I don't know what it would be if it was 1 run scored. I'll have to workshop that.
Right. So that's no outs, bases loaded.
Ending in team incapable of getting easy run.
Yeah, right. Which I think is a great acronym, but at the same time, they almost did it. The Rockies almost did it.
Mhm.
They just weren't able to. But yeah, it's crazy to me that when Eric Lauer came over here, all of a sudden everything just changed for him. Could not win games. He never went into the sixth inning, and then all of a sudden he goes into the sixth inning basically every time he pitches now. So for over every like if you look at his last four starts, he's gone six innings, and in the fifth start against Pittsburgh, it was 5.2, so he just barely missed going six. But it's 6 runs, three earned, no earned, three earned, two earned. I mean, the guy is just doing everything that an eighth or ninth starter should be doing, and even to the point that when Blake Snell comes back, which he doesn't look like he's that far off, you're gonna put him in, keep him in the rotation instead of a guy like Emmett Sheehan or even Roki Sasaki. I think Sheehan is the one that gets moved off, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think I'm with you. I think Sheehan's probably the guy who gets knocked out of the rotation once Blake Snell is back. Did you think we'd be today's July 7th? Did you think we would still have Eric Lauer on the roster at this point in the season?
No, when we got Eric Lauer, I think we both agreed that if he was still on this roster after the All Star break, something went wrong. And instead,
Hmm.
something went very, very right. The fact that he's actually going to stick on this is amazing. And like, good for Eric Lauer. Like, a guy that's a journeyman dude, bounced around, was in Korea for a little bit, came back, and turned out that he comes to the Dodgers and they somehow put their little magical pixie dust all over him, and he becomes a good pitcher again. So good for him, man. I'm really
Yeah,
happy for him.
absolutely. Considering, I mean, what happened in Toronto at the start of the year was he's made 6 starts, 8 appearances, 1-5 with a 6.69
Mm,
ERA in
mm,
Toronto. Since then, he's come to the Dodgers, made 7 appearances, 6 starts, 3-0 record, a 3.12 earned run. So he's like chopped the ERA more than in half
yeah.
in his time with the Dodgers and has looked great. The Dodgers seem to give him run support, which okay, so they did a lot of work. They scored 2 in the third, they scored 4 in the fourth, and at that point you figured, all right, well that's it, right? Like
Done.
that's enough. We can shut it down for the night. Tanner Scott had other plans. Well, first I guess Lauer gave up one in the fifth, one in the sixth. Tanner Scott had other plans, giving up 3 in the ninth. Was that shades of 2025 Tanner Scott, or was that just him having a bad night?
I want to say it's just a bad night. In his 8 previous starts, he had given up no runs and he'd been fantastic. So I think it was just a bad night. And a guy like Ezekiel Tovar just plays really well against the Dodgers. And so does Kyle Karros. Kyle Karros I mean, he didn't hit a home run this game, but he had a big double. But he has like 8 home runs in his career, and 3 of them are against the Dodgers. So, like, some guys just hit certain teams well. And apparently, guys on the Rockies hit the Dodgers well. And, I think this was just a Tanner Scott bad outing, and I'm not going to put anything else on it because of how good he has been. But man, I'm telling you, it got to the bottom of the ninth or the top of the ninth, and he struck out the first guy. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to watch the rest of this in bed. And I took my phone and and then had to go through a full inning, then another full inning, and then another full inning. This is just ridiculous. I'm supposed to be sleeping now, Tanner. So, like, I'm not
Yeah.
upset with him because of because he took sleep away from me.
No, I get that. I understand that. Like so you mentioned he strikes out the first guy, then he gives up a walk, and somewhere in the back of my mind, I'm like, this has the potential to go bad. But I'm going to keep the faith, right? I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I'm not going to text this or anything like that. So he gives up the hit, and you get a couple guys on, and then you mentioned Karros hits the double, and really they were saved by a great relay throw to the plate that took like a Zapruder film like replay challenge. Otherwise, they would have been down 7-6 going to the bottom
Right.
of the ninth inning if it weren't for just a great relay throw and a great tag by Dalton Rushing to hold that game at 6-6 last night. So the Dodger defense ends up coming up big in that one. Do we want to talk about the Dalton Rushing
I think we have to.
Cherrick
We have
dust
no
up
choice.
that happened yesterday? So at that play at home plate. After that was in the 10th inning though, wasn't it? Was that
No, that
the
was the
10th
ninth
inning
inning
run?
because you're right because it was the top of the ninth because that's how they would have they would have gone up 7-6 like you were saying. So
Yeah. Well, whatever. There was the play at
the
the plate
slide. Yeah.
where uh,
Now you got me all confused. I don't know what inning it is anymore.
I think it was the
It's the
10th. I'm
ninth.
pretty sure it was the 10th.
It had to have been the ninth
Anyway,
because that would have put them up 7-6. Anyway, okay.
well, no, I think that's why it was the 10th because it did put them up 7-6. When Carrick slides in, Dalton Rushing applies a tag after the fact, and apparently Cole Carrick wasn't happy
Oh,
with
you're
that.
right.
So he says something to Dalton Rushing. Rushing says, "What the bleep did you say?" And then Cole Carrick responded with, "What the bleep are you doing? Bleep bleep bleepity bleep." And then people came out of the dugouts. People came out of the
Oh,
bullpens.
oh,
The two parties had to
bullpen.
be separated. Um, yeah, it's another one for the Dalton Rushing villain highlight reel. Although, Anthony Machado
Yeah,
pointed
but
out last night, it wasn't his
he didn't do
fault.
anything
This
wrong.
one wasn't on Dalton Rushing.
Like he did everything you're supposed to do. So he puts the tag on it. You're right. It is the top of the 10th because it did put them up 7-6. It was a long night, Marcus. But either way, like so he did put the tag on him and went by, and then he put the tag on him again just to make sure. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just being a
No.
good catcher and doing the right things. So I don't know why everyone getting so mad. I think because it's Dalton Rushing. If Will Smith would have done the exact same thing, it would two sides would have pushed this way. It would have been over, and you wouldn't have the bullpen walking out from right field. And it's like, what are you doing? Just go, stop, go back. Your team knows that you are with them. Your team knows that you have their back. You don't need to do a whole walk from the right field fence. All right, it's okay. But yeah, Dalton Rushing. I didn't see Dalton Rushing do anything wrong in that. That was just a typical play that he should have done just to be sure. You put the tag on a second time just to be sure. Like if he got away, whatever it happened to be. So didn't touch the plate. Whatever. It was the right play at the right time.
Yeah.
So
But again, like Rushing has already earned this reputation as being a villain. This is just one more thing that people are going to point to, even if he is not the one at fault here. But it is just what it is. So that happened at the top of the 10th. Bottom of the 10th inning, the Dodgers get a run thanks to a Mookie Betts RBI single. Or actually, I think they count it as an error. Either way, he drives in the run.
yeah, they did count
They
it
have
error.
a
It's
chance to
stupid
win.
because it was
The ball was hit hard.
sorry.
The ball was hit
It was
hard.
it hit really hard and it barely touched his glove. That was a tough play. But keep going.
That's a tough error for that guy to take. They have a chance to win the game in the 10th. You got two on. You got Teo Hernandez at the plate with a 3-0 count against Jimmy Herget, who at that point, Greg, couldn't find the strike zone with a map and a compass.
No.
Why is Teo swinging at a 3-0 pitch and soft lining into an inning-ending double play? Please explain that to me like I'm 5 years old.
Teoscar Hernandez likes to swing at pitches outside zones. He doesn't care what the count is. He just goes and swings at things. It doesn't matter. I mean, he has a green light whenever he wants it, and he had a green light 3-0, and that pitch looked like it was going to be a ball, but it may have like tipped the end of the side of the outside part of the plate. I don't know why he's swinging 3-0. You're right. The Herget guy was all over the place. And even in the next inning when he came back in, he was all over the place then too. So Teo, there's only one out. Get bases loaded. Let him move down to, I think Muncy was next. Let Muncy have
Muncy
that
was on
shot.
deck.
Like you don't need to be the hero. You were here the hero on Friday when you hit a grand slam. Okay, so just come on, play some team ball. That was a ridiculous thing, but I mean, he hit the ball well. Like he hit it hard. It just happened to be right at the pitcher that turned into a double play, and it was one of those unfortunate double plays. I don't know. He should have. There's no reason for him to swing at that pitch, but yeah, at least they ended up winning. Because if they would have ended up losing, we probably would have been coming on here and killing Teo a little bit more.
That would have been probably the first thing we would have talked about is why he was swinging 3-0
what are you doing
on that one.
Did you have an issue? Sorry, I'm just switching up to. Did you have an issue with Freddie Freeman stepping on first and then throwing home instead of just throwing home and allowing them to get the run?
Um, in the moment, like when it first happened, I was like, no, because it happened so quick. I was like, oh, he might still get both outs.
Right.
Then obviously when the run scored, then I was kind of like, yeah, maybe you should have gone home first. And so that actually then when I watched the replay of it,
Hindsight.
it made sense because his momentum was sort of carrying him toward first base. Um, it was a bang bang play. Yeah, I think in hindsight maybe you come home, but in the moment, like I understood what he was doing because if he pulls it off, then it's a double play. They're out of the inning, like innings over, and then you have a chance to win it right there at the bottom of the 10th. So, at this point, I will give Freddie Freeman the benefit of the doubt because he's been so good defensively for so long. But yeah, it's one of those. I think if he had a do over, I think he comes home with that ball.
Yeah, I think he does too. But I think I'm in the at this when it happened, I was like, "Oh, hey, great play, Freddie. That would have been
Yeah,
great. That would have ended the inning. Everything would have been done." So, I mean, it just didn't work out. It's at least they ended up winning. But yeah,
they end
I
up
get it.
winning.
It's hindsight to me. So anyway,
Yeah,
back to Dalton Rushing. Dalton has been great. He has been
yeah.
really, really good for probably the last week, 2 weeks. He has been on fire, batting over 400 over the last week. He's like 9 of 21, something along those lines. He's and getting and driving guys in. Not a lot of home runs, but he's hitting doubles. I think he had 2 doubles in that game last night. He
Hmm.
had the game winning single. Like Dalton Rushing at the plate looks. We talk about it so often. The adjustment to the adjustment. It feels like Dalton Rushing did just that and made the adjustment to the adjustment.
I think he did. I think it also has helped having or being in the lineup pretty much every day too, right? It's easier to sort of make that adjustment when you're getting
Yeah.
consistent at bats. I think it was harder earlier because he started the season so hot, and eventually people started finding the holes in his swing and started pitching to those holes. Um, and it's hard to fix that when you're basically getting 3 at bats in a week, right? 3 to 5 at bats in a week because Will Smith was going to play every day. Now, um, I still want Will Smith back there as our everyday catcher,
Right.
but in the meantime, Rushing being the everyday guy, getting playing 4 out of 5 games or whatever it is, it gives him more opportunities to see pitches, to kind of fix what's wrong, to sort of have a new plan of attack. And so he's really taken advantage of it. So, credit to him for figuring out what was wrong and sort of making the necessary adjustments to that. But still, the fact that Will Smith is doing baseball things again and looks like he's getting close. I still don't think he'll be back before the All-Star break. I think they'll just,
No.
hold him off until at least then and then have him come back after the break. Um, but it is encouraging that he's getting ready to come back soon. So, but it's good to see Dalton Rushing taking advantage of the time that he's getting at this point.
100%. But for the most part, like we take Will Smith behind the plate every single day and twice on Sunday, no matter
Yes.
what. He is
Mhm.
your catcher. But I do wonder what it's going to be like for Dalton when Will Smith comes back. He talked a lot about his struggles not being playing every day last year, and then he said he kind of figured it out. But you could see that he was struggling a little bit afterwards, after that hot start that he had, and maybe it was the adjustments. But at the same time, I wonder how he's going to react when he's no longer the everyday starting catcher. Or what do they do? Do they kind of split time between Dalton and Will and just make sure that Dalton never has Shohei Ohtani, which is only once a week? I think that's something that's in play. Like if you play 6 games in a week, do they just split it 3-3? And does that hurt Will Smith at the same time if you do it that way? Because he was not hitting very well before he got injured. So this time off maybe helped him, but I don't know. How do you see this playing out behind the plate? Does it go back to what it was or split time or what?
I think when you get toward the end of the year, it goes back to what it was. I wouldn't be surprised if for the first few weeks, maybe even sometime into August, you see it split a little more evenly. In part because Rushing is playing so well, he's hitting the ball so well. So why would you want to lose that if you don't have to? Also to sort of keep Will Smith fresh as long as you can, right? But I think once you get into September and you know who's going to be your everyday catcher. I think once everybody's healthy and you're getting close to the playoffs, I think you're going to start to see that everyday lineup out there a lot more consistently, like the lineup that you expect to see when you get into the first round of the playoffs. But for now, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, hey, give Will a couple days off, let Dalton stay hot, and just sort of split it out. The other part of that is, I mean, Dalton did catch Shohei's last start, and everybody seemed happy. There were no there were no dust ups, there were no
Did they
incidents or
hold?
anything like that.
Were they holding their lips up to make a smile, or do you think that it was real? Like
I'm
he was
just like
like, "Hey,
I
everybody's
think
happy." Yeah, I
I
don't think
think
that's.
I
I
do
don't think
think
that's the case.
yeah, no, I think they whatever happened, they worked it out. Whether it was like, through a mediator, whether, Mookie or Freddie or somebody else sort of like acted as a third person, third party negotiator. I think whatever happened is squashed and everything's done. So I think
So
we're cool there.
I hope so. But did you ever watch Ren and Stimpy
Oh, all the
when
time.
when you were younger? Yeah. So if you remember when Ren put on the like the earbuds and they kept saying "Happy Happy Joy Joy" and he wanted to kill himself. Like he was not. He
I'm
just wanted to be mad.
I'm
That's why I feel like
happy,
Shohei.
Steamy.
Yeah, I feel like
Like,
that's kind of what's going on with Shohei. I'm going to put on this to make myself happy, or either one.
oh,
It's a fake happy, but we'll take it.
we'll take it. We'll take it. Speaking of Shohei, acknowledged home run, career home run number 299 last night.
God, jeez.
Uh, 500 home runs is very much in play for Shohei Ohtani. He's got 7 years left on his contract.
Yeah, it's a lot of years.
It's a lot of years, but he's 200 away. So let's do the math. 200 divided by that's averaging about 28, 29 home runs a year over the next 7 years.
He can get
That's
there.
not even counting what happens this year, right to the end of this year. 500 home runs very much in play for Shohei. Maybe if he stays like next level, 600 home runs for Shohei Ohtani. That's amazing.
It is amazing, and I don't think it's not. It's very, very possible because at some point, I think the pitching stops. I don't think he
Yeah.
goes two way forever, and then he's just a hitter, and then you start looking at him as just that hitter that he has been before. So I think he does both for as long as he wants to do both. But the fact is that he's going to stop, and then those home run totals will probably jump up. Although he will be older, but at the same time, if you have that much power, you're going to just continue to rake. And I think 600 is very, very attainable for him.
Yeah, man. 500 seems like very much in reach. 600, not crazy to think that he could get there before his career is done. Which is, look, I mean, at this point, if Shohei Ohtani stopped playing today, he's a Hall of Famer, right? Like at this point,
Oh,
he's already a
no,
Hall of
sorry.
Famer.
No, he walks into the first round. So
So,
that's already been
uh,
decided way even before this year. But real fast, because we only have a minute left, you're doing it
yeah.
on purpose, aren't you? You're doing it on purpose, aren't you?
Oh, you know what? I honestly, I
You know
didn't
what?
do it
It's
for. Kyle Tucker is hitting over 250 now. He's hitting
Kyle
252. Credit
Tucker.
where it is
Kyle
due.
Tucker.
He was 3 for 5 last night. He is swinging the bat well. I will acknowledge it. Do I take him off the list? I don't know. I got to
No,
sleep on
not
that
yet.
one more night.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
you have
I
to.
was like, I got to sleep on that
Actually,
first.
it's your choice. It's your villain, but
I'm
you're
not. I'm not
doing your
ready yet,
job.
but I'm not ready yet. But he's starting to make the turn. Right? It's starting to turn the other way. So yeah, shout out to Kyle Tucker for getting that done.
It's
Game two.
there's still little flares. There's little like all they
Yeah.
are little like. But hey, that's on base. So great.
It's on base, man. It's on base, and want to see the power numbers go up a little bit, but things are going the right way for sure, for sure. Game 2 of the series tonight, 7:10 first pitch at Dodgers Stadium. Michael Lorenzen and his 6.91 ERA going against Justin Robleski, who tries to stay hot for the Dodgers. We'll be here to talk about it tomorrow. In the meantime, stick around. The Sedano and Cap Morning Extravaganza coming up next. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to Tim for production assistance. But that'll do it for this edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. For Greg, I am Marcas. We'll see you tomorrow, 6:30 to 6:55 here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel.